So good evening, Devu, and welcome to the last speaker meeting of the Vision Year. So let us all raise our right hand for the national anthem.
भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंग तव शुभ नाम जोगे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय जय जय
કેટલા મિનિટ બેક કરવાનો છે જોજે.
A small request, please mute yourselves, everybody. Thank you. So good evening, Devu. Today we have assembled here for the speaker meeting for our vocational awards. So friends, what are vocational awards? They are awards which are given to individuals who've done exemplary work in their fields. This year, COVID has disrupted all our lives in some way or the other. And the COVID warriors have stood and they've stood up and fought the fight so that we can all be free, we can all be safe. We at Bayview did a very heartwarming project, and by giving the Florence Nightingale project. In this project, we gave wellness kits to all the nurses and health workers in BMC hospitals and health posts, and so almost 4,500 nurses and health workers we've been able to felicitate. So we raised around 44 plus lakh rupees by a crowdfunding project by which the super members came together, and we have done this together. And now taking this further, we want to further felicitate the nurses by giving them vocational awards. There will be certificates as well as cash prizes of 2,500 rupees each. So we will be giving these awards to 10 hospitals and 4 awards per hospital. So that's basically 40 awards is what we will be giving. So listing a few, I would like to invite our vocational director, Ami Choksi, to take this evening forward.
Thank you, Smita. Good evening, everyone. So it's a pride and pleasure to announce the vocational award to the awardees, and they have been nominated as the COVID heroes for this ceremony. So we start with the Wadia Hospital. We start with the nurses. Mrs. Anita Rupate. She is in the Department of COVID Isolation Ward, working since 1997, especially working even after her due time was a forte, and she has done excellent service. So congratulations, sister. Next, we go to Mrs. Roshni Kumar, Department Step Down IPCU. working since 1998. She's looked after the critical care patients selflessly and saved many children's lives in this pandemic. Congratulations, sister. In Vania Hospital, we have Dr. Karthik Shroff in Department Pediatric Intensive Care. Fearlessly served the children during the pandemic. He's done excellent service. Thank you, doctor. Dr. Astha Pangal, neonatology unit. Amazing support all throughout the pandemic. Congratulations. Go to St. Elizabeth Hospital. Dr. Sanai Babu in medical surgical awards, worked as resident doctors throughout the pandemic without any respite. Dr. Sanai Babu and Dr. Nelisa Fernandez, congratulations. As for the sisters in St. Elizabeth Hospital, the nominees are Ms. Pragati Mangani. She's worked in OT in charge and very able sister. Congratulations. Sister Bastin Nargolkar and the whole team. Very, very compassionate to compassionate care with dedication in the COVID ward and worked overtime and selflessly. Congratulations. In SRCC, that is the Children's Hospital, the nominees, the sisters are Sister Ankita Gawade. She's the first nurse who was ready to do the COVID duty and work for the longest duration. She cared with compassion and later turned as a mentor to the newer entries as nurses in the COVID ward. Congratulations, sister, well done. Sister Seema Doke in the ICU, very silent and efficient worker, very helpful and worked for very long duration, very responsible, and she took the ownership when required towards her duties. Congratulations. Thank you, sister. Dr. Arpit Gandhi, junior doctor in critical care for children. He handles emergencies well and reports accurately to the senior doctors. Congratulations for the effort, for your efforts and the selfless work. Dr. Hinal Sinol, critical care at DOJ, very dedicated, responsible, and helpful. Thank you, doctor, and congratulations. Over to Smita.
Thank you very much, Ami. We have a few doctors and nurses who have joined. So can I invite sister to one of you all to please come forward. Unmute yourself, please. We would like to hear a few words from you. Sister Namrata, are you there? Sister Nirupama? Okay. Okay, so congratulations all of y'all. We have sisters and doctors who have joined the meeting, and congratulations to each one of you all for your exemplary work that you all have done. We cannot thank you all enough. Thank you very much once again. This is something very small that we could do from our side for you all.
Thank you very much.
Smita, Sister Nirupama has put on her video and I think she would like to address the club.
Yes, Sister Nirupama, please.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you very much for giving us such a great opportunity, ma'am. And you just appreciate our work. Thank you, madam. Thank you once again.
It's our pleasure, sister. So friends, moving ahead on all the wonderful work that has happened in the last 1 week. So I would like to highlight a few projects that we have done in the last week. So I am very okay. Before we start that, very happy to announce that we have received funding for both our global grant projects. So the project, which was to set up e-learning systems in the entire St. Catherine School, the project size was $70,250. Has the funding has come in from Rotary International, and we will be starting executing the project very soon. Our second global grant at St. Elizabeth Hospital, where we will be giving medical equipment. The funding for that has also come in, and that is to the value of $48,350. So very happy to share that we have got funding. And again, Zamir, thank you very much for helping us getting timely funding for our projects. And we
You
will
have to thank my father, not me. It was him who did it. I only had to request him and he did it.
absolutely.
So
So thank you, Zamir, and thank you, Gulamji, for
you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. More than welcome. I'll pass on the message to him.
yes.
Uh,
So for timely, for helping us get the funds in time. And we will be most probably trying to finish the St. Catherine's grant in by coming week. And probably you all will hear from us for the inauguration of our at least one grant. The second grant will spill into the next year by the time we finish it. So that's one thing. The second, if you all know that we made 2 check dams in the Kasatwadi region. So the check dams are full. The place has got water now. There's been rainfall there, and the check dams have already filled up. And now we are going a step forward, friends, to make a difference, like a proper difference in that area. So we are giving seeds to 200 farmers there. Now, since they have the water, now we are just in time for the sowing season. So we are giving 200. We are giving seeds to 200 farmers. These will be paddy seeds, and they will plant these. They will sow these seeds, and they will hopefully have a good crop. So the value of this project is 4 lakh rupees, and yes, we've done that. Also, we have donated life-saving equipment to KEM Hospital. This is in the pulmonary department, which is the need of the hour. Building up the medical infrastructure is what has been the focus this year. Helping fight the pandemic in whatever way we can. So this is to the value of 10 lakh rupees. So we have donated life-saving equipment to KEM Hospital there. Also, we have conducted cataract surgeries. Around 100 cataract surgeries is what we are in the process of conducting. 73 of them are already done, and the rest will be done soon. So this was a little update on the projects. Also, we are having a medical camp tomorrow at the Fisherman's Village. So thank you, Samina, for taking all the medical projects forward and the wonderful work that you do. Today we had the vaccination drive at Wokhar Hospital, and again seamless and beautifully conducted for all of us who went in today, including me, for the vaccination. It was a very seamless process. Thank you, Samina and Dr. Hose, once again. So these were the few announcements from my side, and yes, that's what it is. So now we can wait for Mr. Jugal Hansraj to join in. And if anybody has anything to say, most welcome to unmute.
Smita?
Yes.
Yeah, Jugal just messaged me. He'll be free in 10 minutes time. So I'll just message him once after 10 minutes and then he can join in. So till then you can just...
yeah, he just told me the same thing as well. So I'm just talking to him as well.
So friends, hope everybody has signed up for the Shukriya. All of you all have booked your hampers, and really looking forward to the last fellowship of the vision year. So everybody can unmute, and my announcements from my side are done. Now we are waiting for Jugal to join us. Any of the sisters here would like to say anything? Doctors, sisters, we are very happy to have all of you all here with us. Why is everybody so quiet?
We're waiting for you to make the announcement.
Monday. You'll have to wait. All good things you have to wait. We'll make the mega announcement on Monday. Just keeping fingers crossed. You know that's why.
On Sunday.
On Sunday. Okay, Sunday.
Yeah, you might as well do it with the Shukriya.
That's why Sunday I said.
Yes. Guys, you all can unmute now.
Smita,
Yes.
so the good news can be either one, that we get a president after Jankana, or second is that we are getting the best club award. Suspense.
Why are we just doing this? Let it be. No, yeah, when it comes, it will come. We have to wait till then. What else? Thank you. Arey, Manish Bhayani, you've had years of experience in hiding things from people. Yeah. It's okay.
It is not hiding.
Manish, now what was that, yeah?
Are we going? So should I put mute?
No, basically we're waiting for Jugal to join in. So I guess he's coming in 5 minutes.
Okay.
All set for the awards night?
Who?
Smita, all set for the awards night.
Yeah, kind of.
Looks like Yatish and Darshan are also doing a fab job here. I think whatever the Google link suggested looks to be honestly really appetizing. So something to really look for.
Guys, anyone who hasn't booked the hamper tonight, midnight, the last chance. We have to respond to that midnight tonight.
Can we change the? If we already booked, can we change? If we booked one menu, can we change it to the other menu?
Yeah, just
Manish Bhai, you want non-veg or what?
Are you mad?
Be grateful he hasn't ordered Jain.
No, that's one more month to go. Then I'll be Jain.
Whoever wants to change the thing, you can edit your response, or
By
you
today.
can just message me or Darshan and we will change it. But just let us know by tonight, because we are closing the list.
Done. I'll let you know in a bit. I have to speak to Supreme Court now before I can change it.
Everybody does.
Yeah. Yatish.
Yes, sir.
Yatish, you and Darshan have been doing a great work. Yeah. This year, I think you have given us some great yummy food throughout the lockdown.
Absolutely second that, Sunil. I think in tough times, I really
I
managed.
also agree with that.
Even the logistics too well managed here.
Very well managed. Very well managed. Darshan and Yatish both have done a fantastic job this year. Hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Sunil Bhai.
Yeah. Smita, excellent here.
Thank you. All thanks to all the wonderful members, ever supporting, always being there. One message and all the help comes in. Thank you very much.
सर्किट भाई नमस्ते
सवाल ही नहीं स्मिता
सर्किट
आपके
भाई
लिए
नमस्ते
सब लोग 24/7 खड़े रहते हैं
सर्किट भाई नमस्ते सर्किट
हाँ नमस्कार पाजी कैसे हो
कैसे हो तुम
अरे मैंने सुना
आत्मंथन कॉलिंग
Mr. Mehta, कैसा है भाई? How are you,
अरे
Mr. Mehta?
पाजी ने अपनी बीवी को भी मेंबर बना दिया मैंने देखा
हाँ क्या करे अभी करना पड़ता है जब पाजी काम नहीं करता है तो बीवी को काम पे लगाता है
हाँ अरे बीवी ज्यादा होशियार है
बहुत अच्छा
वेरी
है, बहुत
एक्टिव
अच्छा है।
नेक्स्ट ईयर
सही बोलेला सर्किट भाई
गुड ना मेंबरशिप बढ़ रहा है दैट्स अ गुड थिंग फॉर अ क्लब ना
आई नो
Yatish, I heard you're sending some alcohol. यतीश
He won't tell you anything, boss.
अरे
Because
ऐसा
you only
थोड़ी
heard.
होता है, ऐसा थोड़ी होता है। यतीश गुल हो गया क्या? दर्शन
Sorry, Sunil. What were you asking?
अरे मेरे को एक दो जन ने पूछा कि this time with the food you are sending some alcohol too?
We are sending a beverage.
No, you can't have alcohol. Sorry, not
अरे
allowed.
पूछा है क्वेश्चन में अल्कोहलिक नॉन अल्कोहलिक, क्या बात कर रहे हैं
नहीं, तू बहुत मस्ती करता है पीने के बाद। Sorry, you
मस्ती
cannot
नहीं है, मैं सीरियस है।
No.
पीने के बाद मस्ती करता है तू।
We are sending an alcoholic or a non-alcoholic beverage.
हाँ तो अभी आया ना लाइन पे, देखा मनीष?
और तू मस्ती नहीं कर रहा, प्रॉमिस कर रहा
But
मस्ती
that is up to them, huh? That is up to their mood, boss.
अरे ऐसा कुछ नहीं, अप टू देम क्या है, यतीश को तो बोल सकता है, भेजेगा वो।
नहीं, वो उसके मूड के ऊपर है। अच्छा मूड में रहेगा तो अच्छा अल्कोहलिक ड्रिंक भेजेगा।
अरे यतीश इज ऑलवेज इन मूड 24/7।
हाँ,
और दर्शन इज सो पॉजिटिव, वो कभी यतीश को एवरी टाइम सपोर्ट करता है, बेटा भेज दे तू, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं।
Our team, it is team admin, जितिन है, दर्शन है,
टीम एडमिन वाज टू गुड, रॉकिंग दिस ईयर।
Thank you, sir.
आई नो जितिन इज ट्रैवलिंग, इसलिए है नहीं आज।
Where is he gone?
मदनू भाई आपने बुलाया, मैं आ गया।
अरे क्या बात है, हमने
तूने साली दिल से पुकारा, मैं आ गया।
सवाल ही नहीं है।
ये तो बहुत याराना है यार।
यार सवाल ही नहीं है यार, मेरा सर्किट है वो।
सर्किट होएगा तो मुन्ना भाई होना ही मांगता है।
हाँ
क्या हो गया भाई, सब लोग चुप क्यों हो गए?
Yeah.
All of us are like a sannata man.
अरे प्रणीत नाहटा, प्रणीत तू क्या कर रहा है इधर?
Everyone is thinking about the alcohol now.
I am totally stuck to what Smita is hiding right now.
Hi Pranit.
Hi. Apurva invited me. I'm gonna be joining the road. He's invited me to join, and I'll be glad to be a part of it.
Oh, Pranit, you are in safe hands. Very nice.
Be present in this award Zoom meeting.
भाई प्रणीत का कुछ इंट्रोडक्शन तो दे दो।
Pranit is taking us out to this time, so I think वो देख रहा है कि हम कैसे behave करते हैं। उसके बाद I guess next meeting we'll have Pranit introduce himself.
नहीं लेकिन वो मेंबर बन गया कि अभी
नेक्स्ट ईयर
नहीं, अभी अप्लाई करेगा, नेक्स्ट ईयर अप्लाई करेगा।
अप्लाई करेगा ना, तो अपने को उसका पहले जज करना पड़ेगा।
हाँ तो आज वो जज कर रहा है अपने को।
How is behaving today?
एप्लीकेशन फॉर्म आएगी तब देखेंगे आगे।
Sushant, you're on mute. We can hear you.
It depends on whether he's ready to give everybody one piece of jewelry or no.
अरे but one thing I'll appreciate, गाड़ी में से बैठ के आ गया है स्क्रीन पे।
Yeah, I'm driving back home from work.
It shows some dedication, huh?
Thank you.
You have scored few points today.
What's up, PK?
AD साहब, good evening.
What's up, PK?
Hi Vikrant.
What's up, KD sir? How are you?
Good.
Yeah, भाई Pranit is Pranit the cricket player or not?
Bye.
Pranit, do you play cricket or not?
अरे स्मिता, ये दाल चाट का कौन बात कर रहा है भाई? बंद करो इसको।
I can't hear you.
रोटी बात कौन करे भाई? Mute था।
I can't hear you guys. What you saying?
I said, do you play cricket or not?
Yeah, I do. I bowl. I'm a bowler.
Very good. चलो, new player of the team.
चलो दीपेन, इसको एनरोल कर दे।
एनरोल कर दे और कैप्टन का ही विकेट निकाल।
कैप्टन को लेफ्ट राइट करो.
कैप्टन इज लुकिंग फॉर सम एक दो जन जाने वाले. प्रणीत तो तेरा नंबर लग जाएगा शायद.
Good. I'm glad. But I hope you guys play men and women together. That's more
Yeah,
fun.
of course. Once you come, no, you'll realize what we play.
We play on and off the field. On as well as off the field.
They're all gay and happy. That's what they are.
What are you saying, man? What are you all talking? This is Rotary, guys.
We don't play day night matches. We play night day matches.
Hey guys, I think Jugal is online. Is Jugal there?
Too funny.
जुगल भाई भी तो खेलते रहेंगे.
Jugal, are you there? I think he's online.
Hi Vicky, how are you?
Hi Jugs, how are you doing, buddy?
Good. Nice to see you.
Good to see you, yeah.
Can you
Do
hear me
you want to
properly?
start?
Morning, Jugal, how are you? I'm good, thank you. Nice to meet you all. Let me just see all the faces. Hi everybody.
Hello.
Yeah, thanks for
should I start
having
the
me
meeting
here.
with introducing Jugal, or Smita, do you want to start first?
No, you're introducing.
Yes.
Good evening, everybody, again, and warm welcome, Mr. Jugal Hansraj. We're eagerly waiting to listen to your journey in the entertainment world.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vicky, for inviting Jugal amongst us. Can you?
Always a pleasure. Okay, guys. So Jugal has been a very dear friend also for a while now. I'll give a brief introduction about Jugal. Jugal is a feature film actor, writer, and a national award-winning film director from Mumbai, India. He began working in films as a child, starting from the much acclaimed Masoom in 1983, and went on to do leading roles in several films in the 90s and 2000. Most notable ones being Papa Kehte Hain in 1996, produced and directed by Mr. Mahesh Bhatt, and Mohabbatein in 2000, produced by Mr. Yash Chopra. His first film as a writer-director was the animation film Roadside Romeo in 2008, which was co-produced by Walt Disney Pictures as the first Indian animation film. The second film was the romantic comedy Pyar Impossible, which was starring Priyanka Chopra Jonas and Uday Chopra. He was most recently seen as an actor playing a negative lead in the acclaimed movie Kahani 2 in 2016 with Vidya Balan as his co-star. He is also a published author now. His first children's fiction novel titled Cross Connection, The Big Circus Adventure, was published by one of India's leading publishers, Rupa Publications. He moved to New York in 2018 and has been living in America since last 3.5 years. His second novel, The Coward and the Sword, which is aimed at middle graders and young adult readers, is due to be published by HarperCollins India in August-September this year. Jugal is happily married to Jasmine and has a 2-year-old son called Siddharth. Welcome to Jugal Hansraj to our club now. Over to you.
Thank you, Vikrant, or Vicky as I know him. As he said, he is a very dear friend for many, many years, like of the family actually, of my father, of my older brother, and of course myself. And we go back a long way. So as soon as he messaged me, I said, I'm more than happy. Can never say no to Vicky. But it's an absolute pleasure. And thanks for having me here, Vicky. Thanks for inviting me. And, I'm really happy to meet you all. So Vicky had kind of asked me to speak on my journey in the film industry, which is very long, though I'm myself 48. I think it's been 46 years since I faced the camera. So it is a very long journey. So some people even go to the extent of calling me a veteran, which makes me feel older than I am, but it's all in fun. So I thought instead of, making a speech or something, I'll just, narrate my journey, take you all through my journey, because I'm sure some of you, at least I presume, might have seen some of my movies or have known what I've done. So since it was so many years and the film industry being what it is, it definitely was quite an entertaining ride so far. And I have a lot of anecdotes. So as I take you through my journey, if I think of any nice anecdotes, I'll narrate them. I hope my voice is coming clear to everybody.
Yeah.
Great. So I first time I faced the camera was way back in 1974, a week before I turned 2. So it's I don't know how many of you know that, but so my parents used to take me to Mafatlal Park. I was living in South Mumbai at the time, and they used to take me in the stroller, in the mornings and there was this one very nice gentleman there who used to also go for a walk, Mr. Gautam Rajadaksh, who is, unfortunately, he's no more. Very, very wonderful man. He was at that time a photographer working for Lintas, the ad agency. And he used to, like, typical familiar faces you see at the walk, you stop and say hello, you make small talk. So one day when I was in the stroller with my mom, he asked her, like, of course she knew who he was because they had been meeting in the park for a while. And he said, is it okay if I take some pictures of your this little fella here for some print ads for magazines? And he's such a affable and nice man. Mom said, fine, yeah, sure, come over for a cup of tea and click some pictures of this guy if you can, and then whatever. So it was my first professional assignment when Gautam uncle, as I fondly knew of him, came over and started taking photographs for me for the back pages of these magazines. Like I think the first ad I did was a baby tonic, and that was 1 week before my second birthday. So as far as I can remember, I've always had cameras and lights and all that facing me. So it's not something alien. But yeah, so he, of course, Mr. Rajadaksh went on to become the famous Bollywood glamour photographer in the 80s, 90s, and up until the early 2000s, when, of course, the digital camera revolution took over. And then by then he was quite senior, so he kind of took a back seat. But he was someone I did a lot of photo shoots with over the years. Even as I became a lead actor, I would always, any magazine, any publication wants an interview, I would say, okay, photos by Gautam uncle. Because it was for me like going home to the house, to his old home in Opera House, having a cup of tea, gossiping a bit, and taking a few pictures, and that was it. So it started really long back, and those print ads actually led to more print ads because of, my father had been a cricketer, and he was members of, Hindu Gymkhana and Bombay Gymkhana since many, many years. So there a lot of ad people, frequent the clubs, and they would like, see my pictures and ask dad, oh, can we take another, set of pictures with your little fella? So if there was somebody known to dad, and somebody he trusted, and so then he would, like, it was mostly those days at home, they would come with a cyclorama, put a little background at the back, and dad would always insist, if Gautam is shooting it, it's fine, no problem. So that's where my journey started. I started doing a lot of print ads. I remember, I don't know if you have heard of Prahlad Kakkar. He's a famous ad filmmaker and restaurateur and a lot of things, but his first ad was with me. And once he had bumped into me in Bandra, and he caught me and said, you troubled me so much. I was 4 or something. And it was a Britannia biscuit ad. Oh, sorry, it was some butter ad, and I had to bite toast. And I would always bite the toast before he clicked the cameras. So I think they wasted a whole day and a lot of toast and a lot of butter to get a few good shots of me. So I went on to do many ads with with filmmakers like Shyam Benegal, Kailash Nath, who was the biggest ad filmmaker of the day, Bharat Dabolkar, who's still a famous theater personality. So I used to have a lot of fun. My parents allowed me to do this because I used to enjoy myself, and I was well treated, and I was quite spoiled. And so I would always, even when I grew up, ads were always something I did on weekends, because for me it was a lot of fun. Like a lot of ads would happen in Mud Island in some bungalow somewhere, and they would send a car, and there would be it was for me like a big picnic, or in some studio in South Bombay close to home, because a lot of the ad film people were around famous studios and Taradev and Mahalakshmi. So it was not any trouble. I was always looked after well. Most of the time my parents would come with me. Sometimes if it was just Gautam uncle, they would just send me with him. I remember having a great time. Of course, I think I troubled a lot of people. And there's so many anecdotes. I remember there was this ad with Shyam Benegal I had done, where there was this little girl playing my sister. I was, I think, 6. This is pre-Masoom. And she was supposed to cry in the ad, and she just couldn't cry. So I remember Shyam Benegal taking me, this was half day had gone. So he took me on the side and said, listen, just pinch her arm when I say action. So he said, like, just, so because I was a kid, no one was going to mind if I do it, right? So I was very happy I'm getting to like pinch someone else, So before the camera rolled, he said action, and he winked at me, and I pinched the girl. She started screaming, and he got a shot. So these kind of cheats used to always happen. And one of these ads I did, there was a very famous campaign called Nutrimul, which was a chocolate drink to put in milk for children, where I had done a series of ads. I was the face of that product for many years. So they used to put up these big banners on Hughes Road or Hughes Road. I don't know what the right way to say it, but that banner is still there. Of course, I'm not on it anymore. Above the Ratan Tata Institute building. So my face was always plastered there with Nutrimol of some product of theirs or the other. So I did a lot of ad films for them with Dara Singh and Vispi Kapadia, and so in all these ads I would be shown drinking Nutrimol, and in one ad campaign I'm beating up Dara Singh. In the other one, I'm beating up Sensei Vispi Kapadia, who was a big proponent of martial arts. So because of those ads, actually, I never got bullied in school because I would always be in a karate black belt. I didn't know karate at all, and I would be beating up people like Dara Singh and Vispi Kapadia. So I never got bullied in school because everyone thought, don't mess with Jugal. If you can beat the mighty Dara Singh, nobody's going to bully me. So it was seeing one of these ads that Shekhar Kapoor and the producer of Masoom, Devi Dutt, who was Guru Dutt's younger brother, the great Guru Dutt's younger brother. His daughter, Devi Dutt's daughter, and Shekhar Kapoor happened to see my ad, one of these Nutrimal ads with, I think, Dara Singh or Vispi Kapadia. And that's when they thought that they were making Masoom, and they thought this kid would be the best for that role. I don't know why, but this is what they thought. And they called up my father. And my father, being a very jolly, kind of happy-go-lucky kind of person, somebody's making a movie, and yeah, come over, have a cup of tea. So and Shekhar Kapoor, of course, being extremely well-spoken, Devan's nephew, so all the charm that was in the Anand family, he had it. And of course, the film was being written by Gulzar, music by R.D. Burman. There was Nasir and Shabana, and it was a very in those days what was known as parallel cinema, art cinema, the more so-called respectable kind of films of those days that were being made by Shyam Benegal and Govind Nilani. And so this was on those lines. So my mother was, okay, this sounds respectable, call him over. And Shekhar Kapoor walked in. I remember that, I don't know, somehow this memory is very clear. He came in, I remember what he was wearing. He came in with a green Sony cassette, which had Tujhse Naraz Nahi recorded recently in it. And he narrated the story to my parents, and I was in my pajamas. Of course, it was 8 p.m. or something after dinner. And he was very, very nice. He was extremely, well-spoken, polished gentleman, and young. He was an actor. He had done 4 or 5 films as an actor as well. So, of course, they knew who he was. And he told me the story a little bit about the film. My father sounded very happy about it because it was something, and it would have been an experience for me. I had already faced the camera. This was a very good role, and with very eminent people like Gulzar and all that. And when he told me the story, my first reaction, he told it to me in very simple terms. Of course, I was only 8.5 or 9. And my first reaction was, I'm not doing this movie. So he was like, why? What's wrong? It's like the whole story is about you, about this young boy. And, I'm sure, it'll be great. And I said, no, this boy is crying all the time. I don't want to be called a crybaby in my school. I'm not doing this movie. So I said no. And he was quite disappointed. Of course, he left. And my parents said, well, if the child doesn't want to do it, we're not going to. But they really liked Shekhar, and they got really friendly with him. And he started, when he went back, he told me this later, that he had a meeting with the producer and said, if this child doesn't do this film, I'm not making this movie. So the producer always recorded songs, and he said, no, please get this kid to do the film. I've invested a lot of money already in it. He had recorded a song with Lata Mangeshkar, and the recordings had taken place at R.D. Burman studio and all that. The story was ready. Gulzar Saab had written the whole screenplay and dialogue. So Shekhar started dropping in, because he got friendly with my mom and dad. Very nice man. And he started, coming and chatting with me. He started coming down to the compound to play cricket with me, and he used to come home and play Monopoly with me. So he became my best friend. And I was like, I would always ask my mom and dad, where's Shekhar? Where's Uncle Shekhar? I used to call him when I was a kid. So, and he would always bring like nice, jokes for me and riddles for me. And he was also young. He was probably 30 or something. And he became a really good friend of mine. And one day he asked my parents, can I take him with me to famous film center in Tardev, which was close by to Pedder Road where I lived. He said, we are recording another song of Masoom with R.D. Burman, and there's Suresh Wadkar and Bhupinder singing. The song was Huzur Is Qadar. And, it'll be good. And I love music. I still love music. I love singing and instruments and all that. So I jumped at the idea. I said, yeah, mom, let me go with Shekhar too. So it was I think, weekend or something. So he took me with him. He came to pick me up, and he took me to Film Center Tardev. And I met the very affable and jolly and the genius R.D. Burman, who turned out to be such a sweet man, such a warm man. And he let me run around the studio. I was going like playing the drums here, playing the guitar here and doing all these. And everybody was pampering me. I had so much fun by the time the song got finished that I looked at Shekhar when he came to drop me home, and he came up to, say bye to my parents. I asked him, when are we starting this movie? So I think it was after about 2 months of fieldings, so to speak. It was R.D. Burman's recording that actually got me to say yes to this film. So it's him to thank, actually, because he was so nice and so friendly, and I had such a wonderful time. That was the only recording I attended of the film. I think that was the last song pending. But then it was quite a whirlwind where, I was invited to Shabana Azmi's house, bungalow in Juhu, where I was introduced to the rest of the team. My parents had come with me. There was a whole tea and very nice. I was introduced to everybody. And then in a couple of months, when I think it was my Diwali vacation was starting, another thing, my father had a very strong condition before he committed that I would be part of the film. One was that he would go to my school and talk to my principal, Father De Mello, about if he can give me permission to miss a little school. So only when I was given permission by Cambridge School, and I was going to miss about 10-15 days, it was extending over after the holidays, when Father De Mello said it's fine, I can do it. So that's when I started, and that's how I started Masoom. So coming to Campion School and the principal, I think one interesting incident I must narrate to you all. This is again pre-Masoom, was when my parents took me to, they wanted me to get into Campion School. My brother was already studying there, and it was a very strict Jesuit school. I, at that time, had gotten crazy about this film called Amar Akbar Anthony, I think, which had come out in 75, 76. And by 78, I was eligible to, be admitted to the school. My brother was already studying there, but my parents wanted to brush up my English skills because there was a little basic test where the principal would speak to the child and see if his English is of some basic standard before admitting him in the school. So there was this old Catholic teacher, Mrs. Boyle, who used to come home from the school. She was a teacher there, and I was crazy about Amar Akbar Anthony. I used to dress up as Amar in the inspector uniform and all that. So one day when she came home to teach me English, I asked her, Miss, have you seen Amar Akbar Anthony? Poor thing, she was an old Catholic lady. I don't think she had ever seen a Hindi film. She just said yes to, get on with the homework or whatever. She was teaching me the basic, English language stuff. So I said, who do you like more, Amar Akbar or Anthony? So she said, being a Catholic lady, she just came out of her mouth. She said, I like Anthony the most. So I remember I raised my hand and I gave her a slap. And she got up and she left the house. And my father got so, he was so apologetic. He ran behind her, and my mother was scolding me on the side. Just trying to say this incident because I was so crazy about, I had started enjoying movies so much that that craze for movies is still there for me, that, I used to take it so personally. I was a little 5-year-old kid. And finally she came back. My father apologized. And a month later, when I had to go to Campion School for the interview with the principal said, I would like to spend some time alone with him in my office so that there's no prompting by the parents. So my father was pacing up and down outside. I hope Jugal doesn't ask the Prince Father de Mello if he has seen Amarak with Anthony. Then I didn't ask him, and I got admitted to the school. So my love for films was, of course, goes back a long way. So coming back to Masoom, I had a wonderful time. The entire film was done in about 45 days in Delhi and Nainital. It was a small budget film, even in those days. And the whole entire film, like we went to Delhi and then from there to Nainital and came back with the entire film complete. I had a wonderful time. I was anything but Masoom during the shooting. I was very troublesome. I was a 9-year-old brat. So don't go by what you have all seen of me on screen crying and, all the public crying and, loving me so much. I think I'm surprised that Shekhar Kapoor talks to me today after all that I troubled him. My mom used to joke that Devi Dutt has lost his hair because of you. But being a 9-year-old, of course, I was indulged and I had a wonderful time. It was like a family. We all stayed in one bungalow instead of hotel. Everyone used to have dinner together, lunch, of course, at the shoot. And they were very easy hours for us kids. Shekhar Kapoor was just a dream director. The way he used to explain, he has to go to everyone's level while talking to them. If he's talking to Nasiruddin Shah, he'll talk in that level. He's talking to the cameraman, he'll talk in that. If he's talking to us kids, he'll come down to us. I was 9. I think Urmila was 10 and the youngest girl was 6 or 7. So he would talk to us in our level. So that's why I think the film turned out to be so good, because everyone was on the same page. Everyone understood, and that's all thanks to the wonderful direction of Shekhar Kapoor. I think all credit to him and the great co-actors that I had, and of course the script. I wouldn't take much credit for that movie, but I'm really glad that that film is remembered a lot. As I said, I did a few naughty things during the film. One was there was this scene. I don't know I'm sure you have seen that film of, if not any others of mine, but there was a scene where there's a cricket match happening in a picnic with Saeed Jafri and Nasiruddin Shah and some. And I used to wear spectacles at that time. I used to take my specs out for the shot. So I bowled the ball, far from the stumps. So someone in the crew shouted, "Oh God, this kid is blind or what?" And I got so upset that I, as a 9-year-old, in the middle of the shoot, and Nasiruddin Shah and Gulzar and everybody's there, I said, "Pack up, I'm going back to Bombay." And I stormed off to my car that was assigned to me, and I sat in the car and said, "Driver, wapas lo." And the shooting stopped, and Shekhar Kapoor had to come and sit in the car for like an hour and apologize and, okay, I'll make sure it never happens again. And so I did a lot of naughty things like this. I remember in Nainital during the shooting of Tujhse Naaraz Nahi Zindagi. I'm sure you'll remember that beautiful melody, that beautiful song. It was being filmed in the hills of Nainital. My mother was with me at that time. And then in that one moment where, sometimes you look away or everyone's busy, I ran up the hill and hid behind a rock just for fun. And for about 20 minutes, the entire crew was looking for, where's Jugal? Oh my God, where's Jugal? Because there was a forest and we were on a hill, and has he been lost? And there was such a ruckus till about I couldn't control any longer, and I came out from behind the rock laughing my guts out. And my mother, of course, was very upset, and so was everybody else. But when you have a 9-year-old doing a movie, you can expect some pranks. So all these pranks are something that I really remember. I'm sure the director remembers too. But the shooting got done very well, and we had a wonderful time. And I didn't realize when the film came out, and suddenly the next thing I know, everywhere I go, people are looking at me, staring at me, coming up to me, saying nice things. Aunties are pulling my cheeks, and I was like, "What's happening?" I was always recognized because of the ad film, but this was something else. It was, I don't think I remember any moment where I've not been stared at, or so I don't know how it is to not. I'm quite happy sometimes when I walk around out here in New York that I'm like just one of the guys. It's some people are very happy to be looked at. Because I think I was looked at so much as a kid, I'm quite happy to be a more low profile kind of person. But yeah, so after that movie, there was a lot of attention. Luckily, thanks to my parents at home, my older brother Sunil, and of course my school, I was very grounded. I was never allowed to, fly high or let that, fame and adulation get to me. And it was just something that became part of my life. This, people looking at me, staring at me. Of course, everybody was very nice. Nobody was misbehaving. Or it was mostly aunties who would come up and say, "Main kitna roi," and all those typical things which they still say. In fact, now I still get, when people see me, even here, Indian families, they look at me now. Masoom came out in 1983 January. They look at me and, "Oh, tum to bade ho gaye. You've grown up." I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I grew up. They expect me to still be that, even after I've grown up. I've sung songs, I've done romantic films, I've directed films. But no, for me, for everybody, I think mostly it's at least that generation that saw the film in the 80s. For them, it's like, how come you've grown up? You're supposed to be the little kid from Masoom. So after that, there was a lot of film offers, of course, which my father didn't take up because of school. But there was one call he got from Mr. Dharmender's manager. And Dharmender wanted to speak to my father and Dharamji, and he came on the line. And he confessed to my father that, listen, I'm known as the He-Man. But when I saw Masoom in the trial show, I had to hide myself. I've never cried so much in my life while watching a movie. And I had to hide myself because koi ye na bol de ki, He-Man ro raha hai. So if there's any role of my son, or there's a nice role in the film, please allow Jugal to come. I'll make sure I take care of him. And my father, of course, said, there's school. And he said, I will make sure that he shoots only in his summer vacations. So the next 4 years, 5 years actually, 4 with Dharmendra, and I did one film in between, Subhash Ghai's Karma, where I played Dilip Kumar's son. So I did 4 films with Dharmendra, one summer vacation in Ooty, once in Nainital, once in Kashmir. So I've had a lovely time. And Dharamji used to always make sure my room is on the same floor as his. And I was given a car that would follow his to the shoot. I would only go to the shoot when he went, unless it was just a scene of me. But I remember having such a wonderful time with him. What a warm man. Every day he would come up to either my father or mother, whoever it was that accompanied me, and very nicely say, if you need anything, I'm your older brother. I'm right here on this floor. Don't hesitate to talk to me about anything. He used to make sure my food is taken care of, and I was not doing long hours of shoot. He would make sure I would pack up early. It was just I have such wonderful memories of working with that man. I mean, he's of course comes across as this big tough guy, but what a soft-hearted, what a gentle person he was. He is. I haven't seen him for a long time. And another memory of this film I had done with Dilip Kumar Saab, called Karma. I don't know if you all have seen this film. Directed by Subhash Ghai, and it was a big multi-star in its time with, of course, Dilip Kumar. There was Nutanji, there was Anil Kapoor, Jackie Shroff, Sridevi, Poonam Dillon. lot of actors. Maybe I'm missing some. And I also happened to be in it as Dilip Kumar's son. And wonderful memories of working with a person whom I consider one of the arguably one of the greatest actors ever. I think from any language, in any cinema, I think he would be considered one of the greatest ever. And what I remember from him was, again, what a wonderful man. We used to, of course, there was a whole film schedule in Kashmir, but before that, we started off in Mumbai at Film City. And those days, there were no trailers. Everyone had makeup rooms on the, on the floors of Film City, the makeup rooms, green rooms. And on the same floor as mine, of course, Dilip Saab's makeup suite was there. So we used to be called, come to Film City by 9 o'clock. And I used to go there. I used to reach there by 9. They used to send a car to me at 8 o'clock at Pedder Road. And every time I used to go to the Film City, and Nutanji was always already there, and she used to come from Kolaba. Like that generation, that grace, that that there's something magical about that generation, which I'm sorry to say, I feel the younger generation of actors today don't have that grace, that charm, that professionalism, that humility at all. Like I remember meeting a legend like Nutanji, and so sweet. She used to because I used to also be there early, and shootings never used to start till 11 or 12 in those days. She used to call me over to a makeup room and get some juice for me. She used to sing songs. What a wonderful voice. And another memory I have is of Dilip Kumar. He used to arrive by 11 or so to Film City, and he would be ready by 12 for the shoot. So they would start a couple of shots in the morning. But every time Dilip Kumar came to Film City, and he would have to pass my makeup room to go to his when he came out of the elevator. So he would always come into my green room, and he would sit there for about half an hour, 45 minutes, and have his morning tea in my room in his lovely china cup. And his man Friday would come and serve him some lovely cookies, and which he would very generously share with me. And sometimes he started having so much fun sitting in my room. He would be there till about 12 or 12:30, and the shooting would be held up because Dilip Kumar is chatting with this little kid. I was, I think, 12 or 13, I think, at that time. And he would come every day with some toy or some riddles. And he was, of course, a very well-educated, well-spoken man. So he would come with these riddles about grammar, English grammar. He would come with some mathematical riddles for me. And we would be sitting and chatting, so much so that, of course, Mr. Subhash Ghai couldn't, out of seniority and respect, he couldn't, tell Dilip Kumar to hurry up. So after a few days, they realized that the shooting is getting delayed because of Jugal, because Dilip Kumar is going and chatting with him. So how do we get the great Dilip Kumar to get ready and come down for the shoot? We can't tell him anything. So he started sending an assistant, Jugal, your scene is ready. Everyone's waiting. Please, can you... So that didn't work because Dilip Sahab would turn around to the young assistant and say, "Bhai, ruko, hum zara guftagoo kar rahe hain, hum baad mein aate hain." So I think because of me, the shoots used to begin at 1 p.m. instead of 11:30 or 12. So it was just a great experience working with all these people. And I continued to meet Dilip Kumar for many years after that. When again something funny happened is when I got a phone call the year after Karma released, and somebody came on the line saying, "I'm John and I'm Mr. Dilip Kumar's manager and he wants to speak to you." In those days, somebody directly calling you, and suddenly this gentleman came on the line and said, "Hello, मैं Yusuf बोल रहा हूँ." And I was like, somebody is joking. Why would Dilip Kumar call me? I mean, this is ridiculous. So while he was talking, I was trying to think which of my friends or family friends, or is it my older brother Sunil, or someone is pulling a prank on me. And I was going to say, it just shut up, enough of this prank. And when he started speaking some Urdu words, and then I realized nobody in my circle can speak Urdu like this. So this has to be Mr. Dilip Kumar. So I got saved by not saying shut up out there in front of him. And he used to invite me every year to the National Association of the Blind prize giving function, where we used to felicitate school kids who collected money for the blind children. So he continued calling me till I think he was the chairperson about 8 or 9 years after that. So every year I used to meet him at the CCI. There would be a big function. He would look after me very well. So wonderful memories. I did these few films, and by the time I reached the age of 14, I think I stopped because of my ICSE. And the last film I did was, again, of course, with Dharmender, and there was, of course, Shabana Azmi in that film also. And after that, I stopped and got busy with my ICSE and then college. And I, at that time, never thought, because I'm not from a film family, I never thought I'm ever going to get into movies. Or I thought maybe I should go and assist Gautam Rajadaksha and become a photographer, because I was interested in something creative. So I finished my school. I just blindly followed my brother everywhere. So he joined HR college 5 years before that. Then I joined HR college, though I had no interest in commerce or business, but I didn't know what else to do, like most 15-year-olds. So I joined HR college just because I had access to Bombay Gymkhana, where I could go and swim because it was close to, and I could go have my breakfast or lunch there. And I still swim. That one habit I haven't stopped. So my whole college life was revolving around my Gymkhana, that I can, around my swimming pool. So by the time I reached 18, there was starting to be some media attention. Oh, the Masoom kid has grown up, and some people called me for interviews, and I, of course, was not interested. I said, I have nothing to do with the film business, whatever. It's in the past. When one day I got a call from Manmohan Desai's office, MKD films. Of course, I've already mentioned, a big fan of Amaragya Anthony. Still am. It's one of my favorite movies, most entertaining movies I've seen. And I was, of course, excited that this person said, Manmohan Desai wants to talk to you. So he came on the line. He spoke to me, very energetic, very fast-speaking man. He started speaking. Jugal, I want to meet you. I'm making this film. Please come to my office. I'm in Ketwadi. And then his manager came online, gave me his address. And I was thinking, I'll go meet him because I'm a fan of his. But I'm sure it's for some young Amitabh Bachchan or some teenager who gets killed and Amitabh Bachchan takes revenge or something like that. I said, like, he's never made a film without Amitabh Bachchan since many years. But I said, at least I'll go and say I've met Manmohan Desai. So my father came with me because I didn't know he was in some small by-lane of Ketwadi. So I didn't know that area very well. So my father said, I'll come with you. And he thought he'll also, come and have a cup of tea with the great Manmohan Desai. So when I went to the office, we started talking. Very, as I said, very energetic, full of life, man. He started talking about this film that he's making, and there was no mention of anybody older in that film. It was like a teenage love story that he was planning at that time, like just like Raj Kapoor had made Bobby. He was planning a film like that, and he wanted to cast that film. And when he told me about it, it sounded like such a big budget, typical movie mogul kind of film. And in those days, there was not a lot of overseas shootings. Only a few, Yash Chopra and all that used to go. So this film was being shot in Dubai and London and all that stuff. So I was wow, very impressed. And then he asked me, okay, so can you sing, dance, fight, horse ride, swim? What can you do? So I was like, what do I tell Manmohan Desai? Like, I've not done any fighting classes. At those days, all the heroes being launched were going to dance classes and fight classes and all that stuff. So I just looked at him and said, I don't know, I can act. So that's all I said. So can you swim, sing, fight, dance, swim? I said, I can act. So he stopped talking. He looked at me. He got up and he shook my hand. He shook my father's hand. He said, this boy is my hero. He's in my film. I will train him. I'll start after 1 year. So before I had a chance to process that I'm coming back in movies, there was no asking with Manmohan Desai saying, you are in my movie, end of story. We'll look after you from now. And I was a bit taken aback. And after that conversation, he started talking to my father. Turns out my father we also Gujarati family. Manmohan Desai is Gujarati man. And I think one of the biggest cricket fanatics I've ever met in my life. And that was it. He forgot about me. Him and my father became best friends and they started talking about cricket. And on the other hand, he started sending me for training. Saroj Khan's dance classes and this fight class. And the typical those days, what actors were meant to do. And suddenly there was again a lot of media attention. That, oh my gosh, Manmohan Desai has signed this 18-year-old Jugal Hansraj after Amitabh Bachchan is the first hero he signed is Jugal Hansraj. So there was a lot of hype in the media. I was over all the covers with all the new kids that were being launched at that time, which amongst whom were, of course, Bobby Deol and Karishma Kapoor were being launched in a film by Dharmender, directed by Shekhar Kapoor. And there was Anil Kapoor's brother Sanjay Kapoor being launched with Taboo in the film. And then there was several newcomers being launched. And I was being, pitted with them because I was, of course, being launched by the great Manmohan Desai. And this went on for a while. I did a lot of training and I was still unsure of what I want to do. I said, chalo, I'll do this one film and then we'll see, But after when I started all the training and after all that media hype that happened, then I got interested back in the movie. So when I was unsure before that one meeting with Manmohan Desai kind of tipped the scale and I said, okay, I'll do this. Unfortunately, that film didn't begin, which I'll go on to narrate, as did many others, I think, in my career. Till now, 35 projects haven't started with all big filmmakers like this. So that film, he did a lot of screen tests for some girls because he was trying to find a girl who was young enough to be paired opposite me. At 18, I think I looked 15 or 16. So it was very difficult for him to find an actress. Finally, he signed some a new girl. And we did some photo shoots again with Gautam Rajadaksh, and the film never began. Of course, I remember being very sad when it didn't happen, because he was going through some taxation problems. He had a bad back and he didn't want to take a financial risk with a newcomer. This was a very big budget film. After 2 years of his tax problems was so serious that he had to make a small budget film quickly to be able to cover all that. So he put together a small film, but he signed Rishi Kapoor in it. It was a different story, but they used 2 songs which were meant for me. Suddenly the media went crazy saying, oh, 18-year-old Jugal Hansraj replaced by Rishi Kapoor, and all the negative things as the media generally writes. So that at that age, it kind of affected me a lot. Today, I don't care. But it was quite tough when the media went to town with all of that. And I signed another film, which again didn't start. And then the third film, it happened very strange, which was my first as a lead actor. I got a call from this film producer with whom I'd done a film as a child, one of the Dharamji films. And he said, I'm making this film called Aag Gale Lag Ja. It's with Urmila. And Saif Ali Khan was the hero. But I've had a bit of a problem with him. And he's walked out. And we have decided not to work together. Can you come and see me? I, of course, knew him. He was down the street in Khar. I was in Bandra by then. So I went to meet him. Again, I had a cup of tea. He told me about this film. He said, problem is, Jugal, my film is ready to begin. I'm shooting in 6 days. And I've had this problem with Saif. And if you're doing this, you have to start shooting in 6 days. So after all this 2-3 year delay of like movie about to begin, not happening, suddenly in 6 days, I found myself facing the camera as a lead actor. So life is strange, sometimes you plan a lot of things, they don't happen. When you don't plan, something happens. So that's how I got my first film. I was 21 by then. Luckily, I'd finished college. It started in October 93, and then by May 94 the film released. The music became very popular, and I became a lead actor. So after that I went on to do a few films. They didn't do very well at the box office, but I remember Papa Kehte Hain got very popular, especially because of that song Ghar Se Nikalti and a couple of other songs which people still remember me by today. That film got very popular. I had a lovely time. We filmed in Seychelles. Again, how I got that film was very interesting because my previous film I had done, which co-starred Sonali Bendre, hadn't done well at the box office. And I was sitting at home. Couple of films, as usual, in Bollywood, like when your film doesn't do well, they disappear. So I had a couple of commitments which didn't happen. And I was sitting at home, and I used to, of course, go spend my day at Bombay Gymkhana. I got a call from, when I came back, the domestic help at home, she said, she had written a name down, Mahesh Bhatt sa phone ala hota. I said, why would Mahesh Bhatt call? And he was like, making a prolific filmmaker at that time. I was like, yeah, whatever. Again, some prank. I used to get a few prank calls in those days. There was all landlines. There was no, somebody calling for an interview and it'll be a friend, joking. I'm from BBC and all that stuff. So I thought it must be some stupid. So I ignored the call for about 4 times. I didn't respond over the course of 7 or 8 days. Finally, Mr. Yash Johar called me, the eminent producer, who's again no more, but he was a very big film producer at that time, father of the producer director Karan Johar. He called me and said, Beta, where are you? Mahesh Bhatt is trying to call you. He was at that time directing a film with Mahesh Bhatt, and Mahesh Bhatt had complained to him, can you as a senior get in touch with this boy? He's not. I had met Mahesh Bhatt a year earlier for this film called Sir, which he made with Nasir and Paresh, but he had already cast Atul Agnihotri, I think, and he had told me, I'll call you if there's something. But he didn't call for a year, so I thought all these people say this, and that's so obviously a prank. Till Yash Johar called me and said that, where are you? He wants to talk to you. Why have you disappeared? You want to work, or what do you? I said, I want to work, but I thought it's a prank. He said, no, this is a number. Call him now. So I called him. First, he scolded me as his inimitable style. Dafar, where are you? Little child, where are you? Run away. Come and meet me. So I met him, and he said, I'm making this film. He told me the story, and I was like, of course, it was being filmed in Goa at that time, but I think through Mahesh Bhatt's PR, he got some free deal in Seychelles, and we landed up going to Seychelles, sponsored by the Seychelles Tourism Board, and we had a wonderful time shooting that movie. And the songs are still popular. I think kids, when it came out, kids had liked that film very much. After that, I did another film with Basu Chatterjee, the veteran, when I got offered Mohabbatein. And one condition, of course, of signing Mohabbatein was I stopped signing other movies and concentrate on this. Saying, he told me, become a newcomer again, like the others. There's a bunch of 6 newcomers. You become one of them, though you are the most experienced, and that's my one condition. So I was getting such a big break when a Yash Chopra film. I immediately jumped at it. I stopped signing films from '98, and in '99 we started filming Mohabbatein, which went on to become a big success, and still people remember me with that film. I think we have time for a little more. So I have one very funny incident during the shoot of Mohabbatein. There was this very famous song, Soni Soni Akhiyon Wali. I don't know if you all remember that. It was a holy festival song with Shah Rukh and Aishwarya and all 6 of us. And in the end, I think Mr. Bachchan also comes. There's Anupam Kher, who was a prominent role in the film, Archana Puran Singh. There was a whole cast pretty much of the film in that song. The film was being done over 9 days. That song was being filmed over 9 days. Those were still the days of the movie moguls where people used to take their time and do big, not today when everyone's hurrying up. So each of us couples had a verse each. So in my verse, the scene was that Shah Rukh Khan gives me bhang, and I get drunk and I have to perform the song, So Farah Khan was the choreographer, and she asked me, "Do you drink?" I said, "No, I don't. I mean, I've tried everything with my dad, but I don't drink." Oh God, how are you going to do this? Amir Khan had done this film. Rajendostani, where he actually got drunk. Amir is a method actor. You must follow him. Even Amir doesn't drink, but he got drunk for the song. I said, "Yeah, I'm not drinking now in the middle of the day." She said, "Trust me." Then Shah Rukh came and said, "No, get into the role." I think half of them were, I think, pulling my leg. But the production manager actually went from Film City to their little town, which is about 20 minutes away. He got some bottles of beer for me. Those days, the big bottles with the black plastic bag and all that. And Farah Khan said, so I was also young, and all these Jimmy and Uday were egging me, "Come on, Jugi, you can do it, like give your performance." And I said, "Okay, it's just beer, man. Like, my father drinks beer every now and then on Saturday, Sundays. I'll go in the corner." So it was an open set. He had created a whole set of the Mall Road of Shimla in Film City, and everything was built. So I went behind this little cafe where I was supposed to be a waiter in the film, and I said, "Chalo, I'll gulp down some sips of beer." So I went in the corner, faced the wall, and I started, gulping down a few sips. And when I put the bottle down and turned, I saw Mr. Yash Chopra sitting there with 3 of his North India distributors. They were doing some meeting on set about the distribution rights of the film. And Yash Chopra looked at me like this, with a beer bottle in the middle of the afternoon on his set. And he's a complete teetotaler. Being a Punjabi, complete teetotaler. He doesn't never had a drink in his life. In his house, of course, he served all the best alcohol in his parties, but he never drank. So for him to see me standing there with a senior man like him, standing with a chill bottle of beer, the big bottle, those days, there was no pint bottles, the big bottle in my hand, and with 3 senior distributors, I stood. If there was a camera, that would have been a wonderful moment where they would take my reaction and his reaction. There would be some nice background music. But all that was going on in my head. I said, "Oh my gosh, I'm in trouble. I'm drinking on set in front of Yash Chopra on his film." He looked at me for a moment like this. And that moment lasted very long, because I was like, what is going to happen? Like, I'm already halfway through the film. My career is at stake. How do I explain that Farah Khan was, egging me on to have a drink? So he looked at me for a few moments, and then he smiled. "Bete ऐश करो, हम भी जवान थे कभी." So he did this, and he went back to his meeting. I was like, "Oh my God, he's going to think of me as some, I'm actually doing this for pleasure." Anyway, the film, that shoot went on. That verse of mine, where I was supposed to be drunk, was a long shot, big complicated camera move, and they landed up taking 16 takes. So you can imagine of course, Farah Khan made sure there was beer coming to me regularly in Coke cans. They would empty out the Coke can and pour beer for me. So by the end of the take, I was, I think, quite a happy lad. So that film went on. I went to do many films, but as I said, about 30 films in my career that I've signed or that were committed to me didn't start. with all the biggest filmmakers, starting with Manmohan Desai and Kailash Nilani and Ram Gopal Verma, and quite a few, couple of them with Mukesh Bhatt, Mahesh Bhatt. And so I did I signed a lot of films. I would have done a lot more work, but they didn't begin. So after Mohabbat, I did a couple of films with Rajshrees, with Suraj Barjatia, and some of the smaller roles I did, actually, those films got made. So in the media, of course, went to town with, oh, Jugal is only doing small roles now. But I tried explaining, listen, the films I'm signing as a lead, I'm not starting. What what do I do, you know? So that's how I veered into writing and direction. When I had done a few films with the Chopras by then, I'd done Mohabbatein, done Salam Namaste also, I'd done a small part in that film. So I'd gotten quite friendly with them, and they knew that I'm crazy about animation films. And I see all of them, and I, you know, see the DVDs, the special features, how they are made, and all that stuff. So that time they were tying up with Walt Disney Pictures, and they wanted to come up with some animation film, first time in India, like a feature film. So they asked me, listen, we are tying up with Walt Disney. You're crazy fanatic about animation films. If you have any ideas for a story, just, you know, as a friend, just let us know, because you see, I used to see French, Japanese, all sorts of animation films. So he just casually mentioned it to me over dinner. When in a month, I actually gave Aditya Chopra 10 pages. I actually wrote down 2 stories of some proposed animation subjects, not knowing like what is my role. I just, as a friend, I said I'll give him a couple of story ideas. He liked both, but he liked this one about stray dogs and on the streets of Mumbai a lot more. He said, why don't you start writing it? I said, I've never written a film. He said, but you've read so many scripts, you know, so just start writing. You're an actor yourself, just start writing it. We'll see where it goes. So I started writing the script, and started liaising with someone in his office, some creative person, about, you know, notes. They would send me notes back, and I would. Finally, 6 months later, the first draft was ready. And turns out Aditya Chopra had given me a brief. He said, let's make a spoof on Bollywood. Let's make fun of our own films. You know, let's pick, you know, popular pop culture kind of iconic moments from Hindi films, and let's have fun, because they're dogs, and, you know, we can have fun with. So I made a South Indian villain, and like a Rajnikant kind of, you know, flamboyant villain. And I had songs, and I had a cabaret, and I had a villain, and I had heroes friends, and I did the whole thing. And they loved it. Yash Raj loved it, and Disney Films loved it. And next thing you know, they were talking about actually making this into a film. By then, I had gotten so possessive about the characters, and so I took Aditya Chopra on the side and said, but I don't want to give this now. It's like, I've spent 6 months. I don't want to give this to anyone who's going to direct this movie now. I don't know what they'll do with this movie, with this story. I've written with so much love. Saying, what do you mean? You'll only direct it. So that's how I got a shock. So what? Saying, yeah, you're only going to direct it, because anyone I sign is going to be a debutant. Nobody has made an animation film in India before. And this is your script, your characters, you're an actor, you know about movies, so you direct it. So in that one moment, suddenly I became a director for Walt Disney Pictures film. And I then had to, like, again go back and see all those making of videos, psych myself up about. It's a very long process. Animation takes 2 to 3 years to make one feature film, and you don't see the final product till the end. It's all in your head. So I decided to take one day at a time. Like, as my father taught me, when I told him that, Dad, this is very overwhelming. My father always gave me cricketing analogies. So he said, just play the next ball. Don't worry about the end of the match. Just play ball by ball, you know. So that's what I started doing. Today, when I finish the day's work, what is to be done tomorrow? That's it. Not thinking about deadlines and 2 years later and softwares and all that stuff that go into animation films. I started doing it one ball at a time. And I had such a great time I remember not leaving Bombay for 2.5 years, because I used to even go and work on Saturday, Sundays. It wasn't work for me. It was such a great experience. And when that got over, I got offered another film by Yash Raj called Pyar Impossible, which was already written. And I had, sat on the script a little with Uday Chopra, and I got to direct a live action film, I think within 2 months of this one releasing, which was again great to work with Priyanka. I was a bit, because actresses can get very, you know how they are, like divas, right? Sometimes they can throw their weight around, and especially for a newer director. But she was just amazing. Like, she would always be on time. If we are shooting till midnight, she wouldn't have no problem. You want to call me at 6 in the morning, no problem. You want me to jump from here, no problem. You want me to skate from here, you want me to swim, you want me anything. Like, she would be on time. She would just never screamed at anybody, as a lot of actresses do. I won't take names, but I've seen that happening. But she was just great to work with. So after that film came out, unfortunately didn't do very well at the box office. And as usual in Bollywood, when the box office doesn't sing, the music goes quiet, right? So everyone disappeared. But I kept trying to make a couple of films. Almost signed a film with Farhan Akhtar and Ritesh Sadhwani as producers because of some rights. It was a remake of some old European film. Again, it fell through. So then at that time I was wondering what to do. I took up a job with Studio Dharma Productions as a creative head, just because I was getting married and I thought a salary will help me. But since things were not moving forward, as Vicky mentioned, I did do Kahani too, an odd film or odd TV commercial. And I decided, I've also gotten into writing books. I write novels. So I moved here when my son was born, and my idea was I'm still freelancing. Anytime a good offer comes, I can always fly down to Bombay and do it. And I had a TV anchoring job here too. But then COVID happened, and so just when some offers have started coming, so COVID happened. So right now things are opening up. But in the meantime, I've written my next novel. It's being published by HarperCollins India and is soon due to be released in a month or two. It's called The Coward and the Sword, and should be out in a month or two. So I'm looking forward to that. And I've already started writing my third novel. My first one came out in 2017. This one is for, as Vicky mentioned, middle graders, young adults, and all adults who are young at heart. So do read it when it's out, and I hope you all enjoy. So thanks. It was great, nostalgic moment for me to go walk down memory lane. I haven't done this for a long time, so thanks for the opportunity for me to go. I think maybe I should write a book about my experiences. I think that would be interesting. Maybe I'll think about it. Thanks so much.
I think you must, Jugal. I mean, it was wonderful listening to your walk down memory lane, right from Masoom to now. Wonderful. From an actor to a writer.
So there, I just read a comment. I think all of us at Bayview are young at heart. Of course, so am I. That's why I'm writing for young readers.
If anybody has any questions.
Yes, Jugal, I have a question. This is Zamir. How are you?
Fine, Zamir. Nice to see you. Nice to hear from you.
All well?
All well so far. No complaints.
Good. Jugal, how easy was it for you to cry naturally as a 9-year-old in Masoom, or did you have to use glycerine?
Yeah, very actually. Yeah, glycerine. A very interesting question, because there's an anecdote to that as well. My first day of shoot of Masoom was, I don't know if you still remember scenes from that film, was when in Nasiruddin Shah's office, I come across his letter where I find out that he's really my father. Yeah. When he was so far telling me that I'm his friend's son. So he's introducing me to his boss as our senior partner in the firm as his friend's son. And I'm staring at him with my eyes getting moist as the scene goes on. So we did a few rehearsals, and it was my first day shoot. It was Dasara Day, 1981. And the senior makeup artist came and said, "Beta, just put this little bit, one drop. It cleans the eyes also, and it'll burn a little bit. Your eyes will fill up. It's glycerine." So I tried it once in the rehearsal, and it stings your eye a little bit. I mean, it's not harmful. All actors use it. It just cleans the eye, but it stings a little bit. So being a 9-year-old, I said, I'm not using it. I went on set and said, I'm not using glycerine. So there was a big conference. What do we do? How do we make this, child, get his eyes moist? The first day of shoot only, he's like saying, no. So Shekhar Kapoor, of course, being the kind of person he was, he told the producer, "Don't worry, he's a kid. Let him be. Maybe he has his own way of doing things." He took me on the side and said, "What's the problem?" I said, "It stinks." He said, "Okay, don't use it. But can you get your eyes moist?" I said, "Yeah, I'll do it. You start the camera, I'll do it." So he trusted me, and I figured out a way of like keeping my eyes open and not blinking, and I think pinching my nose and my eyes would get moist. So just before he said the camera forward, I told him, "Tell me about a minute before you're starting. I'll keep my eyes open. I won't blink." So I didn't blink, and I pinched my nose, and next thing you know, my eyes got my eyes got moist, and the shot was okay. And that scene was with Nasiruddin Shah, and he's of course quite a serious man, introvertish man. No, he's not very, I think, fond of kids or that kind. He is not very patient. So he was also getting a bit annoyed when I was saying no initially. But when the shot happened, he gave me a hug. He came up. My father was with me in Delhi at that time. He came up to my father, gave him a hug, and said, "Oh my gosh, this kid is surprised us all, and I look forward to doing the film with him." So that's how it happened. So then I just continued using
Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Hi, Jugal. This is Jayesh Vedani.
Hi, Jayesh.
I have met you at Rohan Shah's birthday parties many years back.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's like an older brother to me. Yes.
And we own Excelsior Cinema, and many years back, this film was released. I think, was it Papa Kehte Hain?
Yes. I think it was matinee show at Excelsior, and I think Dilwale Dulhania was doing the main shows in Excelsior at that time.
But why did it release in matinee? I was that time thinking such a good movie. Don't you think the collections dropped because of that, releasing in matinee?
Yes, I agree. It wasn't released very well. The thing is, initially when it was being made as a telefilm.
Okay.
Because those days, I think Mahesh Bhatt had made one film with Kumar Gaurav called I forget the name, but it had
Love Story. Was it Love Story?
No. Mahesh Bhatt had made some TV film for Doordarshan with Nutan and Kumar Gaurav, which Janam. It was a very good film and it got a lot of positive. So he thought he'll make a small budget film, shoot in Goa or Alibag or something, and Bombay, and make this film. But then two things happened. First, he got that whole free deal with Seychelles, so he could do all these nice, beautiful visuals. And secondly, those days they used to record the songs and release them. They like before the shoot starts. Also, they are playing on Chai Geet, just on radio before the shooting also. So when it came to time to start shooting, the songs had already become a big hit. So he said, "You know what? We'll continue. We'll make the film as we are." So it was made in 35mm, like it wasn't made in CinemaScope. But he said, "Let's try and see if we can release it in the cinema." So by the time it was a quick shoot, small budget film, we finished in 45 days. Dubbing got over, and 4-5 months we were ready. So they decided to let's release. That time Dilwale craze was going on, and 2-3 other films. So all the big theaters in South Bombay, Jayesh, like yours, I think Dilwale was already running 3-6-9, 3 p.m., 6 p.m., 9 p.m. And so it was a problem to get theaters, and they thought it's a choti film. Let's see how it does. And Rajshree's bought the whole All India distribution rights, and they released it in a small way. And I guess maybe that way it got a little lost in the crowd. So you're right. Yeah, I was hoping, of course, it would get a mainstream release like my other films earlier. But one thing I was happy that at least it was in Excelsior, which was at that time my favorite cinema, and Dilwale Dulhania was running there. So I thought when people don't get tickets for Dilwale, we'll get overflow business. But yeah, so it didn't do that well at the box office. It covered cost and all that. It made a little profit, but it wasn't a big blockbuster. The songs were. Music was very still very popular.
Thank you, Jugal. Thank you.
I have a question, Jugal. Hi.
Yes, hi, Grishma.
Very interesting. I really enjoyed listening to your conversation.
Thank you.
Are you in touch with those two little girls who were the co-stars with you?
And Masoom, Urmila was actually, I think she'll kill me if I say this, but she's a year older than me, I think.
Okay. So, and the younger one, Minnie, are you in touch with her?
No, I'm not in touch with anyone really. Urmila, I did of course, I did my first film as a lead actor with her, Agale Lagjai, with the one I mentioned, which Saif was supposed to do. So it was a bit media again had a field day that oh Lakdi ki Kathi ga rahe the, they're looking into each other's eyes and singing romantic songs and all that. But I mean it's a role, but whatever. But I know I believe last I heard I believe she's well settled in Pune and has 2 kids and she's very happy. And I don't know. I'll never saw her after the film.
Okay. And how many times have you seen Masoom? Because I must have at least seen it 15 times.
Not for very long. Last I saw it was when I was dating my wife, and we were getting serious and talking about marriage. And she had only seen Mohabbatein. She's from here, from New York. She's not seen a lot of Hindi films. She typical the 2-3 Shah Rukh Khan films which have become big in overseas. I think she had seen those with her friends. She was more interested in those bridal outfits and all than the film itself. So when I met her first in 2007, she had of course seen Mohabbatein, but she didn't know who I was. So she didn't put 2 and 2 together. I was wearing glasses and stuff. I was already making my animation. She thought I was some animator when I spoke about my animation film. I remember her saying, I asked her, somebody in the group asked her if you've seen Mohabbatein. She's saying, yeah, that Jimmy was quite cute. So I don't think she found me cute. So I made her see all my films. I said, see what you're getting into. A last chance, if you want to run away, then you run. Then don't tell me later, you know. So starting with Masoom, I showed her all my films on the laptop. So she saw all the movies one by one. So that's the last time I saw it in 2014 or something. Long time.
Super. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
Yeah, there's a question from Payal. I think, have your kids seen Masoom? So my son is 3.5. He has seen Lakdi Ki Kathi actually. He does watch it most nights before sleeping. He asked me, can I see the Kathi Ka Ghoda song? So I show it to him. And he likes to sing it to my older brother over FaceTime. So on one phone I put Lakdi Ki Kathi, and on the other phone my brother's on FaceTime, and my son likes to sing it. But he hasn't seen the film. I think he's too young. He won't understand what's going on. He hasn't seen even Roadside Romeo or anything. He's seen the song, a couple of the animation film songs, but not the film. So
Thanks. I personally love Roadside Romeo. I think it's a fabulous movie.
Oh, thank you so much.
So entertaining.
Thank you so much. I was
Love
very
the
pleased when
songs and yeah, I just love the whole concept. It was beautiful.
Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you so much. I had such a wonderful time, and I was very honored that we got 3 national awards for that film.
Wow.
I got my first and only national award as Best Director for that. So again, a lovely memory going to Delhi and collecting it from the then President, Pratibha Patil, and so.
Wow. So are we having any more of those kinds coming up? Because I love animations too.
Yeah, the thing is, it's very expensive to make and takes very long. So not many producers are willing to invest 3 years and crores of rupees. It costs as much as a big budget film. Just the way this, it is to make a good quality, softwares and all that. So I don't think a lot of people are, and the audience is limited because it's mainly city audiences that I don't see in this. Smaller towns that they would want to go and see cartoon. The mindset in India still is घर पे देख लेंगे cartoon film है, TV पे देख लेंगे. It's that kind of mindset. So maybe now Netflix and Amazon are there. People might start making.
Yes, that's right. Great. All the best. Thank you.
Thank
it was
you so
great
much.
listening to you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you.
So thank you, Jugal. It's been wonderful. Thank you for sparing your time and coming here to talk to us. So can I invite Zameen to give the formal vote of thanks, please?
Jugal, on behalf of Rotary Club of Bombay Bayview, I would like to genuinely thank you for taking your time out and giving us an insight to your entire journey, right from Masoom up to, I think, Kani. If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And it's been great even seeing you at the Bombay Gym on and off, and always coming and saying hello to you and chatting with you. I hope you're enjoying New York. And once again, thanks a lot for everything, Jugal, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Zamir. Thank you.
And one more thing. I still say, now I realize how senior you are as an actor. Yeah. And I say this, I
feel old now. I'm graying also.
No. With the kind of people you've worked with and the kind of repertoire and the kind of movie genres that you've done, I think you're really a senior actor. We are
Thank you so
grateful
much.
to have
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
No, no, that's very kind. Thanks so much. Really
Thank
a
you.
pleasure to meet you all. Of course, we have had many conversations about old music also. Samir is an encyclopedia for those who don't know. But thanks so much, Vikrant, again. Vicky to me. We call him Vicky. He's a friend. So lovely to be here and see all your faces and just chat with you all.
Thank you, Jugal. Thank you so much. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Jugal.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Tejal, can we have the secretarial announcements, please?
Yeah, hi everybody. The attendance was 67 logins today. The next meeting is the fellowship on the 27th, awards and the Shukriya. Thank you.
Thank you, Tejal. So friends, this was the last speaker meeting of the Vision year. And I would like to take the opportunity to thank all of you all for the support and for being there and just being a phone call away. Thank you very much. Now looking forward to a full house at Shukriya. We have quite a few inaugurations lined up on Monday and Tuesday. Shukriyas on Sunday. Monday and Tuesday, we have some inaugurations. The details will follow soon. And we will ending the year with a bang, with a mega free vaccination camp for the slums in Parel. This entire camp has been funded by Amrita, and it's going to be executed by Anand. So, friends, see you all on Sunday. Bye bye.